welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a full demo review and a application tutorial on the Jones Road foundation. Now I also really wanted to compare this to two other foundations which I think are similar but different in their own way. So we're also going to be talking about the Chantecaille Future Skin Foundation and the L'Oreal Age Perfect Balm, which you've heard me talk about for the entire year so far. The Jones Road foundation is available in 12 shades. It retails for $44. Jones Road is Bobbi Brown's new brand. She left her namesake Bobbi Brown and now we have Jones Road. Jones Road is marketed as a clean brand, so if that's something that's of importance to you, this is marketed as clean. I'm not going to go into all of that, but because this is a clean product, it perhaps doesn't have the same stabilizing or thickening agents that a lot of other traditional foundations would have, because this does have the tendency to separate. There's also a lot of oils in this product. If you receive your foundation and it's separated, it is not a big deal. Even when mine sets overnight, it sometimes separates, and you'll see the product will have, almost like pockets of oil in it. This foundation itself seems to get little cracks and crevices in it. All you have to do is take a little spatula or the end of a makeup brush, stir it back together, and it instantly goes back to its intended texture and kind of like that whipped consistency. I purchased mine in the shade medium, and I've been wearing this foundation every single day for over a week from morning until night, so I do have some tips and tricks on application, so we'll go into that. I'm skipping out on moisturizer because the foundation itself is extremely moisturizing. Even for someone with a dry skin type, I skip out on moisturizer when I'm using this just to get the most longevity out of the product. So all I have on is my SPF. I used this one from Benton because it's very nice, lightweight. It gets quickly absorbed into the skin, and as you can see, it doesn't leave me with a dewy sunshine, dewy sunscreen sheen. It really just kind of disappears. And if anything, this one is just a touch mattifying. I'm gonna take the NYX facial spritz, spray that all over the skin just so I have a little bit of extra moisture, but obviously that's going to dry down. It's just going to give me a nice slightly slippy base so that the product goes on extra smooth. Less is more with this foundation. I cannot emphasize that enough. Really going in with small thin layers. So just dipping one finger in, and I'm gonna dot it just all over my face. This does not dry down quickly, so you have plenty of time to blend, and you wanna take the time to really massage this into the skin. So we are massaging. I'm gonna take it right, under the eyes, taking a little bit more product. We're gonna build it up. You wanna use your hands, not necessarily because of the warmth of your hands. This product is emollient enough on its own. It's the pressure you can give to the skin with your hands. You can really push this in and get the most perfect seamless blend by using your fingertips versus a brush or a sponge. I personally don't like any application tools for this product. I think your hands just have the best ability to really push the product in so that it's not sitting on top. So I have that really dry patch right here from Tret. I don't have to do any type of prep to hide that dry spot when I use this foundation. It hides it for me because it's got that really balmy formula, so it acts like a face balm. Okay, so here's the foundation fully built up. I would personally not go in with more than this just because it does leave the skin feeling slightly tacky to the touch. So any extra problem areas that you have, that's where you will want to go in and spot conceal. I'm using the Lawless concealer because I like this one so much, and it just pairs really well with any foundation. So just for some added brightness under the eyes, and then just going to blend that in with my fingertip. So this is the point where you would have to tweak the application to fit your needs. If you're gonna go in with the rest of your cream products, you can do that now. The product plays really nice with cream products, and if you're gonna go in with powders, I don't think you need an all-over set because your powder bronzer, your powder blush, your highlight, all of that will set the foundation on its own, and you don't want to overdo it on the powder because you don't want to take away from the glow that the foundation gives you. So go in with all of your powder products and then spot powder where you specifically need it. I'm going to go in with a powder bronzer. I'm using my Armani powder in number 8 around the perimeter of my face. Because of this foundation's formula, what I'm doing is applying my powder in tapping motions. so that I'm, you know, pushing the powder in. Applying your powders in this push motion will help avoid any type of movement from the product underneath, and you won't get, you know, splotchiness or anything. I'm gonna do a little nose contour. I'm using my Benefit Hoola. And you can see it's not, you know, grabbing the powder any differently than other foundations do. I'm gonna use Pat McGrath Desert Orchid, a really gorgeous, stunning nude blush. And again, I'm tapping this onto the skin because all of these powder products we're using are essentially setting the foundation down. For highlighting, I'm gonna use the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess. This is still one of my absolute favorite highlights, and I'm just going to lightly apply that right onto the high points of the face. A little bit on the Cupid's bow, on the nose and chin, a little bit right in the center of the face just for some extra glow. And this is around the step where I would recommend that if you do have an oilier skin type and you're more prone to getting significantly more oily throughout the day, this is where you could go in and target set the points of the face that you want to, you know, set down for that added extra insurance. But I do feel like because of my drier leaning skin type, I don't necessarily need a setting powder every day. So I opt for a long wear setting spray that I know actually works. I love this one by Charlotte Tilbury. I notice a significant increase in my makeup's longevity when I use this. And I just do a light spray all over the face and then go in with the rest of my makeup. So finish off eyes, brows, and lips. Okay, now that we've got base done, we can move into review. So I want to say that this foundation for me personally sets down very dewy, very glossy. It actually feels much like a balm gloss in Formula 2. It's got a really unique formula that I haven't had the ability to compare to anything else in my collection because this formula is so unique. I feel like it has a quality similar to a face gloss in the formula. It feels a little bit tacky, glossy. It just feels like a face moisturizer mixed with a little bit of a face gloss. That's the best way I can personally describe it to you. Now, because of that formula, I don't think that application tools really lend themselves the best for application with this product. I think the best bet is really your hands, so you can get that pressure and really, you know, work it into the skin correctly so that you get the most seamless application as possible. The first time I tested this, I was actually on the last few days of my period, so I had some active hormonal breakouts. So I was finding that I didn't particularly like it for the days where I had acne, but obviously I wanted to test it for you. I didn't get any new acne from the product, so it didn't cause breakouts for my skin type personally, but because it has that glassy, glossy finish on the skin, it did make the raised textured areas of my skin a little bit more noticeable when I used cream products. If I used this foundation on top of my acne and then set it with powder, it was much more diffused and it looked like any other foundation on top of my acne. So if you're somebody who uses powder to set your makeup, it's not going to look as, you know, noticeable, but if you don't use powder, it'll still have that reflective sheen on top of active breakouts. Because of the product's glossy, you know, almost like sticky formula, the more you build it up, the more you feel it on your skin and the more you will see it. This foundation, in my opinion, is really meant to be worn for light to light medium coverage. So if you have discoloration, redness, hyperpigmentation, and you really just want a nice, light, even, milky coverage over the skin, but you're not so much concerned with completely hiding everything, it's a good option. If you're somebody who really wants full coverage flawlessness, this is not for you because the more you try to build of it, the more you will see it, the more you will feel it, and strokes, even from your fingertips, they become a little bit more apparent when you really start building this up. So it lends itself the best for people who want a very, very natural, barely there coverage. This foundation does not set down on its own. So once you apply it, it does, you know, dry down slightly and it doesn't feel quite as creamy, but it still has the ability to move around if you go in and, you know, touch your face throughout the day. So because of that, I don't love to wear cream products with this unless I'm going for like a no makeup look. But if I were gonna wear this every single day, I much more prefer it with powder bronzer, powder blush, powder highlight, all of that like I did today. It still looks really nice and natural, but I just think that for me, to boost the longevity, it's really great to use with powder products. If you have an oily skin type, I probably wouldn't recommend this foundation to you, like if you're very, very oily, because I could see this feeling distracting on your skin and feeling just like heavy and sticky and gross on your skin. If you have an acneic skin type and you have a lot of visible acne that you're trying to cover, I also probably wouldn't recommend this to you, because again, it could just feel really distracting, and to get the coverage that you want, you'd have to use so much of this product that it just kind of defeats the purpose of this product. So this foundation I would recommend to people with dry skin types, a lot of, visible dryness or dullness on the skin, people who want a natural, barely there type of coverage for every day, or people like me that have, I have discoloration in my skin and redness and things like that, which it's able to cover, but again, I'm not, building it up to its full intensity because it just would become a sticky mess. So if you are somebody who wants a full coverage, flawless look, I cannot emphasize this enough. This is not the foundation for you. This is for somebody who wants a really natural, barely there type of coverage. The L'Oreal Age Perfect Balm, which I have done so many highlights of on my channel, is a really great starter entry product to see if you're even interested in this type of product. The L'Oreal one, in my opinion, feels much more like a lightweight, watery, whipped mousse than the Jones Road one does. I know this says it's whipped, but I feel like this feels like more glossy-ish. And then this one really feels like a lightweight, fluid, whipped type of product. Think a more elegantly formulated Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse. This L'Oreal one sets down to a satin skin-like finish, and obviously throughout the day it's going to get a little bit more dewy when it mixes with your skin's natural oils. This one has, again, light to medium coverage, but can be built up much more than the Jones Road one, because this one does not feel anywhere near as sticky. It feels very lightweight, very fluid on the skin, despite being, a pot product. It feels really, really lightweight. So this is a great option. Chantecaille Future Skin is another interesting, gel balm type of foundation. This one sets down to almost quite matte on the skin. Depending on how you prep the skin, if you use a really, dewy skincare routine beforehand, this is gonna look more dewy. But if you just do like, a little bit of moisturizer, don't go too overboard on the prep steps and make the skin look overly dewy. It looks very natural and like satin matte on the skin. This is so long wearing. It is phenomenal, and I find this one to be a little bit more flexible, so I really like this one all around because it's long wearing, it's buildable, customizable coverage. The formula is, again, really unique. I don't have anything else to compare it to. It's like this one disappears into the skin, and it just has the most gorgeous, lightweight, comfortable formula, and it looks good for literally hours on end. I've never had to do a touch-up when I wear this one. And honestly, the L'Oreal one is kind of like a middle of the road between the Chantecaille and the Jones Road. So although these foundations are different, I think that the person who would be looking at these is looking for generally the same thing. It's just gonna be that you're going to have to pick the right balm type of foundation based on your skin type and your needs. So if you have a lot of things that you want to cover and you have an oily skin type and you're really concerned about longevity, but you still want a natural, barely there, kind of like undetectable finish on the skin, I would recommend the Chantecaille. And if you have, a generally clear skin type, your skin type is normal to dry, and you just want natural, kind of glossy looking skin, the Jones Road one. And kind of a really great all-around product that's going to give you some dewiness, some coverage, some longevity, and still look really skin-like, but obviously be at a much more affordable price point. The L'Oreal Age Perfect Balm. So the reason I mention the Chantecaille and the L'Oreal Age Perfect Balm is because if you are somebody who is looking at the Jones Road Balm and you just don't think it's gonna work for you, or you're not interested in it because you don't have a dry skin type, these could definitely give you the same effect or be a product that you would be interested in. Chantecaille, more coverage, more of a true satin matte set down, really long wearing. L'Oreal Age Perfect, like I said, somewhere the bridge between the gap of Chantecaille and the Jones Road Balm. So yeah, this was way longer than I anticipated it to be, but I do hope that you found this helpful. If you have any questions or I didn't touch on anything in this video, please feel free to leave it in the comments down below. My shades and everything of all of these products will be linked in the description box, and I'll have all the other things that I'm wearing in the description box as well. Thank you so much for watching this. If you have any other, you know, buzzy products that you really want to see me review, let me know. And don't forget to come follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.